Well, you said even in theater, and that leads into one last topic that I wanted to get to before we um, say goodbye. I'm surprised that the time has gone by as rapidly as it has. Theater. You have written for television and won Emmys for what you've written. You probably have an extra room on your house just to hold all of the Grammys and Oscars and Emmys and all of the various other awards. Do you, by the way? Where do you keep them?
Well, I have a study and a music room and some nice little trophies in each one, and they're sort of spread out in the house, and they're nice things to have.
The question I was leading up to is Broadway. I don't know of anything you've done on
No,
Broadway.
I haven't, Robert. I've never done. I did do the score for a London West End show some years ago, which played for a couple months. A show called Thomas and the King, which was not known over here, not ever done here. And I've never written anything for Broadway, and I don't at the moment don't have any plans. It's really not my cup of tea, although some little part of my brain back here in my soul or heart has, as we all do, I suppose anyone in the entertainment business is interested in the theater. I might be able to do something. I don't know. I think it's a special feel, too, particularly the New York theater, Robert. I think of somebody like Marvin Hamlish, for example, who's younger than I am, but he's grown up in New York City, and he worked in the theater in pits, and it's in his blood, and he knows he's been a rehearsal pianist and a songwriter, and he's got I think there's a certain kind of street knowledge that comes from being in the milieu that can only be earned that way, and that's something that I've never really gotten.
Surely you must have had offers.
I have had people have send me scripts, and they continue to. I mean, I have people are asking me from time to time to do things, and it might be if the right subject came along with the right director and the right idea, one that I felt that I could do well. I might try it. The other negative thing I could say to you is that I've never really been a vocal composer. Very nearly all of it is instrumental, and for Broadway, as everybody knows, that's a songwriting craft really more than anything, which means vocal music. And I like vocal music. I just haven't written all that much of it.
You don't have any vocal lines in your head when you write. For example, the main theme from Star Wars.
No.
Star Wars.
No. And in fact, I resist people putting lyrics to those things because it fixes a meaning in the mind of people. We had a lot of requests to make lyrics to, for example, the princess theme in Star Wars
Or the flying theme from E.T.
From E.T. and so on, and we've resisted all those because, for example, if there's a sequel to E.T. And we use the flying theme again, it would be better if the theme had no verbal connotation, right. that it's purely abstract, and that it doesn't mean E.T. I love you, and it doesn't ever say that, and we don't get that in our ears and in our unconscious.
Have a great trip home, E.T. One thing we haven't touched on, of course, is that in addition to all of this, and it's mind-boggling that there could be yet an addition, but you are also a composer. I'm always a little hesitant to tally up because you're so productive. I never know how close I am to being current, but many concert pieces, 2 symphonies, a flute concerto, a violin concerto.
Well, I think of composing, Robert. A composer's a composer. I guess that's someone whose profession, whose occupation, principal activity is writing, and that's been mine for these past couple of decades. And I haven't written a lot of concert music, but I have written those pieces you mentioned and a few other things. Mostly, really, for relief from the commercial work that I've done. If I would do 2 or 3 films, for example, Robert, I would say to myself, I don't want to do a film just now. Maybe it's better if I can write a cello concerto or write a little wind quintet or a piano sonata, an overture, something like that, or work on my violin concerto, for example. I worked for 3 or 4 years on that. And that's what I've done. And I like to, like most composers, always have something on my piano that's not finished. Always something some kind of work in progress that's there, that needs attention.
Mm-hmm.
That's part of my current way of feeling. And if it gets finished, fine. If it doesn't, fine. But I think it's very important. Anybody who writes, any of your listeners who write novel or poem, whatever they ever do, I think the act of doing it is the important thing. Always be in the habit of do a little bit every day. And that's what I do. If I'm not working on a picture, I write for a half an hour. I don't say I do it every day, but if I'm off for 2 weeks, I find myself the third week getting back to the piano to write something out of habit or out of a wish to keep sharp.
Well, it's certainly a testament to your own sense of self-discipline, how much you have managed to get finished, doing a little bit each day, day to day.
That's the way. That's the way all things are done. Little mini steps, and you look back, and suddenly there's an edifice of some kind there.
Well, I thank you very, very much for sharing some of what you do with us on this day when we've devoted a good portion of the program to one facet of your life, writing for films.
Well, Robert, thank you, and I'm glad we finally had a chance to have a nice chat, and I'm very glad that you asked me. I've enjoyed it.
Thank you, John Williams.